The silent warning. In the depths of space, far beyond the known corners of the galaxy, a strange event occurred. It was an anomaly so unusual that even the most seasoned members of the Galactic Council were left confused. The galaxy had been at war for years, with powerful factions clashing over control of various star systems. The battles had been fierce, but no one expected a silent signal to change everything. The Galactic Council had always operated under the belief that Earth, a distant and isolated planet, had been completely forgotten by the universe. After humanity's mysterious disappearance long ago, the galaxy moved on, leaving Earth behind. There had been no communication from the planet for centuries. Its seat in the council chamber remained vacant, and no one ever questioned why. It seemed as if Earth had been erased from the records of the galaxy. But something was about to change. A signal, unlike any the galaxy had ever received, cut through the silence of space. At first, it was dismissed as a malfunction or perhaps a simple error, but when the signal repeated, it became impossible to ignore. The signal was coming from Earth, the same Earth that no one had heard from in so long, and the message it carried was a mystery. A high-ranking member of the Galactic Council, Scifi, was the first to notice it. He sat in his command center aboard a massive starship when the signal appeared on his screen. His fingers froze over the controls as the blinking code danced across the interface. The signal was unlike anything he had ever encountered. It wasn't a message of peace or war. It was something more cryptic, more unsettling. The Council had dealt with communication from hundreds of alien species, but this signal was unmistakably human. Scifi quickly alerted the Council, and within moments, leaders from across the galaxy were gathering in the central chamber to discuss this strange occurrence. Some thought it might be a trap, a trick played by one of the warring factions, but others, especially the older council members, knew better. They felt a deep unease. The galaxy had not heard from Earth in so long. What could have happened there to cause them to send out a signal now? The Council's most trusted scientists began analyzing the signal, attempting to decode its meaning. It was encrypted, but the encryption was oddly familiar. It didn't take long for one of the galaxy's top cryptographers, a brilliant alien named Zaria, to make a breakthrough. The signal contained only one simple message: "The time has come." It was short, it was direct. But what did it mean? The more they studied it, the more confused the Council became. The message was undeniably human, but it wasn't clear what it was asking. Was it a call for help? A warning? Or was it something else entirely? Scifi felt his unease grow with every passing minute. His mind raced. Earth had been isolated for so long. What could have possibly caused them to re-enter the galactic fold? And more importantly, why now? The timing of the signal couldn't have been worse. The galaxy was already on the brink of total destruction, with wars breaking out on every corner. Could Earth have a new weapon, or had they somehow managed to survive all these years in hiding? As the Council deliberated, a growing sense of dread spread across the room. Earth was not just another planet. It was a planet that had been forgotten by the galaxy, left behind by the flow of time. The thought of it reappearing with unknown intentions sent shivers down the spines of even the most hardened galactic leaders. The signal kept repeating, a constant reminder that Earth was no longer just a distant memory. No one could quite understand the full scope of what the signal meant, but there was no denying the fact that something had changed. Earth had been absent for centuries, but now, its message could no longer be ignored. And it wasn't just the Galactic Council that had noticed. Soon, every faction in the galaxy had picked up the signal. Those that had been at war with the Council began to question what this sudden message could mean. Was Earth back to claim its seat in the Council, or had it discovered something so powerful that it was now ready to make its move? Scifi looked around the room at the other Council members, their faces a mixture of fear and curiosity. This was not a situation that could be easily explained. No one had expected Earth to ever come back into the fold, but now that it had, the Council's future seemed uncertain. The signal, "The time has come," seemed to echo in Sathar's mind. As the room fell silent, the entire galaxy had been unaware of Earth's fate for so long, and now the mystery of its disappearance was about to unravel. But the question remained: what had Earth been doing all these years? And what was this message really about? As Sathar pondered these questions, a deep sense of foreboding washed over him. He didn't know what Earth was preparing for, but he knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The silent warning had been sent, and the universe was on the brink of a change. The only thing that was certain was that Earth was not what it seemed. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. Something had awoken on Earth, something that could alter the course of galactic history forever, and the galaxy's darkest secret was about to be exposed. As the meeting came to a close, Sathar looked out at the stars. Earth was no longer a forgotten world. It was a world that had something to say, and the universe would soon learn the truth. But would they be ready for what Earth had to reveal? The galaxy was still buzzing with questions as the mysterious signal from Earth continued to echo through the vastness of space. Sathar, the high-ranking member of the Galactic Council, was still grappling with the implications of the message. The time has come. Those 5 words carried weight far beyond their simple meaning. No one knew what they were preparing for, but everyone felt the deep sense of unease settling over the galaxy. As the council members met again to discuss the signal, an unsettling thought crossed Sathar's mind. What if Earth had always been watching? What if the human race had never truly disappeared, but had been hiding in the shadows all this time? The signal had made it clear that Earth was not the weak, forgotten world the galaxy had assumed it to be. No, it seemed that Earth had been keeping something hidden, something powerful. A council meeting was called to discuss what to do next. This was no ordinary debate. It was about the future of the galaxy. Everyone gathered in the Grand Council chamber, their faces lit by the soft glow of holographic displays. As they waited for the latest analysis on the signal, the atmosphere felt thick with anticipation. No one spoke. They all knew that what Earth was about to reveal could change everything. The first to speak was Zuria, the cryptographer who had cracked the signal's encryption. "I have analyzed the code, but there is still much we do not understand," she said, her voice steady but filled with concern. "The message we received is simple, but its meaning is unclear. What does the time has come really mean? And why did Earth wait so long to reach out?" Sathar looked around at the other council members, their eyes filled with questions just as his own were. No one had an answer. Some suggested that the message might be a plea for help, while others feared that Earth had been waiting for the perfect moment to reveal its hidden strength. No one could agree on what Earth's true intentions were, but one thing was certain. Earth was no longer the quiet, isolated planet it had once been. The meeting quickly turned to speculation. Could Earth have developed a secret weapon during its time in isolation? Had they discovered something about the galaxy that the rest of the universe didn't know? There were whispers of ancient technology, hidden forces, and secret alliances. No one could deny the possibility that Earth had something in its possession that could tip the balance of power in the galaxy. Sathar had heard rumors before. There were always whispers in the darker corners of the galaxy about Earth's potential, but most dismissed them as myths or exaggerations. However, the more he thought about it, the more he realized that those rumors might have been based on something real. There were accounts of strange sightings near Earth, of ships disappearing without a trace, and of unexplained events that seemed to involve humans. What if these rumors weren't just stories? What if they were warnings? The Galactic Council had always seen itself as the ultimate authority in the galaxy. They were the keepers of peace, the rulers of intergalactic law. But what if Earth had developed its own power that could challenge the Council's authority? What if the humans had been waiting for the right moment to step back into the galaxy's stage, not as a forgotten planet, but as a force to be reckoned with? As the discussions continued, it became clear that the galaxy had underestimated Earth. The Council had always thought of the human race as weak, divided, and insignificant. But the signal suggested otherwise. It was as though Earth had been biding its time, waiting for the right moment to make its return. And now, that moment had arrived. Sather could feel a growing sense of dread in the room. The Council was no longer just worried about the potential of the humans. They were terrified. The galaxy had always maintained a delicate balance. The factions, the alliances, the constant wars. They were all part of the fragile peace that had held the galaxy together. But Earth had the power to shatter that balance. If they had something the galaxy didn't know about, something that could change everything, the entire universe could be at risk. But what exactly had Earth been hiding? There were no clear answers. Some speculated that the humans had developed advanced technology, far beyond what anyone had imagined. Others believed that Earth might have discovered something ancient, a power buried deep within the planet's core, or hidden in the far reaches of its history. Whatever it was, Sather knew that the galaxy needed to know the truth, and it needed to know it fast. "I suggest we send a delegation to Earth," said Zeria, her voice sharp with urgency. "We cannot afford to wait any longer. The signal is just the beginning. If Earth has something to reveal, we need to be there first. Otherwise, we risk losing control of the situation." Sather agreed, but even as he did, a sense of unease settled over him. He knew that sending a delegation to Earth might be dangerous. If the humans had something powerful, they might not welcome the Council's interference. The galaxy had always been full of rivalries, and Earth's sudden reappearance could spark a new round of conflict. As the Council members debated the next steps, Sather couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to embark on a journey into the unknown. Earth had been silent for so long, and now it was speaking. What was the hidden power that the planet had kept secret all this time? And what would happen when the galaxy finally learned the truth? The answers seemed just out of reach, and yet they were the key to understanding what Earth's signal truly meant. Sather stood, his mind racing. Whatever Earth had to offer, it would change everything. And whether the galaxy was ready or not, it was time to find out what lay hidden beneath the surface of the silent world. The countdown had begun, and the universe would never be the same again. The time for secrecy was running out. The signal had been received, and the galaxy was already beginning to stir. The Galactic Council was no longer able to ignore the possibility that Earth had something powerful hidden beneath its surface. The discussions among the Council members were growing louder, more frantic, as the pressure mounted. The fate of the entire galaxy seemed to hinge on what Earth had been hiding for centuries. In a secret council chamber, high above the home planet of the Council, Sather stood at a large table, his thoughts racing. His gaze swept over the faces of his fellow council members. The once calm and composed individuals were now filled with uncertainty and fear. There was a palpable sense of tension in the room. Zeria, the council's chief cryptographer, had just finished presenting the results of her latest analysis of the mysterious signal. She spoke quickly, her voice sharp with urgency. "The encryption is more complex than we first thought. We've only scratched the surface of its meaning. But one thing is clear. Earth has been preparing for something. Something big." Zather's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for what exactly?" "That's the part we don't know yet," Zeria replied, pacing back and forth. "But the signal is unlike anything we've encountered before. It seems like a message, a warning, even. Earth has always been considered a minor player in the grand scheme of the galaxy. But this changes everything." The rest of the council members exchanged uneasy glances. Earth had always been viewed as a planet that had no significant role in galactic politics. It had kept to itself, hidden behind its silence for so long that the rest of the galaxy had forgotten about it. But now, this signal was demanding attention. Earth was no longer just a distant world. It was a force to be reckoned with. Zather stepped forward, his mind racing as he considered the implications of Earth's sudden emergence. "What if Earth has developed something we've never seen before?" he asked. "What if they found a way to harness power that we don't even know exists?" Zeria stopped pacing and turned to face him. "It's a possibility," she said, her tone grim. But we can't be sure. There are reports of strange phenomena around Earth. Ships vanishing without a trace, entire fleets disappearing. We've never been able to explain it. And now, this signal. Do you think they've been hiding something from us? Another council member, Threx, interrupted. He was a tall, imposing figure, known for his blunt manner. Something that could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. I don't know, Zuria replied, her voice tense. But the signal is a warning. And if Earth is truly capable of something that we've missed all these years, the consequences could be catastrophic. Zathor felt a chill run down his spine. He had spent years studying galactic politics, observing the power struggles, the alliances, and the wars that defined the galaxy. But never had he imagined a day when Earth, a planet long forgotten, could threaten the delicate balance of power. It was unthinkable. The galaxy cannot afford another war, Zathor said, his voice low and measured. We've seen what happens when power is abused. When races like the Yzoth rise to power, only to be destroyed by their own greed. We can't allow Earth to become another source of conflict. But what if Earth has something the galaxy needs? Threx said, leaning forward in his chair. What if they possess technology or knowledge that could help us end the wars we've been fighting for centuries? Zathor rubbed his chin thoughtfully. If Earth has something valuable, it would change everything. But we don't know what they're capable of yet. We have to be careful. The council fell silent. Each member of the Galactic Council had their own agenda, their own fears, and their own ambitions. Some saw Earth as a potential ally, while others feared it could be a threat. No one knew the full extent of the power Earth might have unlocked, but they all knew that it was too dangerous to ignore. Zathor's thoughts returned to the signal. What had Earth been preparing for all this time? Was the signal a message of hope, or a warning to the rest of the galaxy? The Council needed to act quickly, but what steps should they take? Should they send a delegation to Earth to make contact? Or should they proceed with caution and wait for more information? The decision weighed heavily on his mind. As the discussion continued, Zathor couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was on the verge of something monumental. A shift in power, a revelation that could change the way the entire universe operated. Earth, once a quiet and insignificant planet, was now at the center of a mystery that had the potential to reshape everything. A deep unease settled over the room. The members of the council exchanged glances, each one uncertain of what the next step should be. In a galaxy full of unknowns, Earth had become the greatest unknown of them all. Finally, Zathor stood up, his decision made. We can't afford to wait any longer. We must send a delegation to Earth. We need answers. If they have been hiding something from us, we need to know what it is. Zuria nodded. I'll prepare the necessary transmissions and coordinates. Zathor turned to the rest of the council. Prepare yourselves. The galaxy may never be the same again. As the council members dispersed, Zathor couldn't help but feel the weight of what lay ahead. The journey to Earth would not be simple, and the answers they sought might not be what they expected. But one thing was certain. The time had come. Earth's hidden power was about to be revealed, and the galaxy would never look at the planet the same way again. The storm was gathering, and the true nature of Earth's power was about to be unleashed. The delegation was assembled, ready to embark on a mission that would change the course of galactic history. The Council's finest ships were prepped and outfitted with the latest technology, ready to travel across the stars and land on the long-forgotten Earth. The atmosphere on the ships was heavy with tension. There was no telling what awaited them on that distant world, but one thing was clear. Earth was no longer the quiet, insignificant planet it had once been. As the ships ascended into the starry expanse, the council members aboard pondered the question that had been nagging at them for so long. What had Earth been hiding? And why had it chosen this moment to make its presence known? Were the stories true? Was there really a fleet, ancient and powerful, waiting beneath the surface? The journey would take several days, but the silence between the delegates was deafening. Each one was consumed by their own thoughts, uncertain of what to expect. For centuries, the Galactic Council had dealt with countless threats, from rogue civilizations to rogue eyes, but nothing had ever been as mysterious or as unpredictable as Earth. On the ship's bridge, Sathor stood, gazing out at the stars. His mind was a storm of questions and concerns. The more he thought about Earth's sudden emergence, the more unsettled he became. Earth had never once sought power or dominance in the galaxy. Why would it do so now? And what could the Council possibly do to prevent what seemed like a coming storm? The answers, he realized, were on Earth itself. But he couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into a trap. The message, the signal, it all pointed to something bigger than any of them had imagined. He knew they had to be ready for anything. As the ships neared Earth's orbit, Zathor's eyes narrowed. The planet looked peaceful from a distance. Blue oceans, vast green continents, swirling clouds, a world that appeared untouched by time. But Sathor knew better. There was something lurking below the surface, something they had all been too blind to see. "Prepare for landing," Zathor ordered, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "Keep your weapons at the ready. We don't know what we'll find down there." The ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, cutting through the clouds and revealing the planet's sprawling landscapes below. The cities were quiet, abandoned. The streets, once bustling with life, were empty. It was as though the entire world had been waiting for something, or someone. As they landed in a remote area, the delegates quickly disembarked, their boots hitting the dusty earth. Zathor took a deep breath, the scent of the air unfamiliar and strange. The planet felt different now. There was a sense of ancient power, an unspoken presence that seemed to fill the space around them. They made their way to a nearby underground facility, hidden deep within the Earth's crust. The signal they had intercepted had led them here. The location was secret, concealed from the eyes of even the most powerful scanners in the galaxy. No one had suspected this place existed. Zathor's heart raced as they descended into the depths, moving through narrow corridors and tight hallways. The walls were lined with strange symbols and markings, signs of a civilization far more advanced than any they had ever encountered. The technology was ancient, but it hummed with a quiet energy, as though it had been dormant for eons, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Finally, they reached a massive chamber, its ceiling stretching far above them. In the center of the room stood a colossal structure, its shape vaguely resembling a ship. The structure was dormant, but its immense size and the energy radiating from it told a different story. "This is it," Zaria whispered, her voice filled with awe. "This is what they've been hiding. This is the fleet." The rest of the council members stared at the massive structure in disbelief. How had Earth managed to keep something like this a secret for so long? A fleet, hidden away beneath the surface of their planet. It was a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Zathor stepped forward, his fingers brushing against the cool surface of the ship. He could feel the power thrumming beneath his touch, a silent promise of destruction and power. The ship had been waiting for something, and now it was awake. But as Zathor stared at the ship, a voice echoed in his mind, a warning that he couldn't ignore. Earth's hidden fleet was not just a weapon. It was a message, a declaration, and the galaxy was about to learn just how powerful Earth had become. "This is only the beginning," Zathor said, his voice grim. "We've only uncovered the surface of what Earth is capable of. We need to learn more. We need to understand what this fleet is, what it can do." But even as he spoke, doubts began to creep into his mind. What if Earth didn't want to share its power with the rest of the galaxy? What if they had been hiding this for a reason? And more importantly, what if Earth had already decided the fate of the galaxy for them? The answers were waiting, buried deep within the Earth's hidden secrets. But whether they would bring peace or war was something no one could predict. The storm had already begun, and the true power of Earth's fleet was about to be unleashed. Zathor turned to his team, determination in his eyes. "Let's move forward. We have to find out everything we can. The fate of the galaxy depends on it. And so, the journey continued, deeper into the heart of Earth's secret. What they would discover next would change everything. The ground beneath their feet trembled as Scathor and his team moved deeper into the underground chamber. The hum of energy grew louder, vibrating through their bones, urging them forward. It was as though the entire planet had shifted, its secrets coming alive after centuries of dormancy. The hidden fleet, Earth's greatest weapon, had begun to stir. Scathor felt a sense of awe as they approached the colossal ship. The size was incomprehensible. It loomed before them like a giant, its ancient design both beautiful and terrifying. The air in the chamber seemed to shimmer with anticipation, as though the ship itself was aware of their presence, waiting for the next step. The energy radiating from it was unlike anything he had ever encountered, raw and untamed. Zeria, his most trusted officer, stepped forward, her eyes wide as she scanned the ship's exterior. This isn't just a fleet," she murmured, her voice filled with wonder and fear. "This is something far more advanced than any technology we've ever seen. It's almost as if it's alive." The others were silent, each member of the team taking in the magnitude of what stood before them. The ship's surface seemed to pulse with a strange light, as if it were breathing, waiting for something to trigger its full power. There were no obvious control panels or entryways. It seemed impenetrable, as though the ship had been built to remain hidden from the eyes of the universe. Scathor took a step closer to the massive structure, his hand brushing lightly against the surface. It was cold at first, but as his fingers made contact, a surge of warmth shot through him, and the ship's hum grew louder. The ground beneath their feet seemed to resonate, and suddenly, the ship's surface began to shift. Metallic plates moved, revealing intricate designs and symbols, as though the ship was coming to life in front of their eyes. A voice echoed through the chamber, deep and resonant, sending shivers down their spines. It was a language none of them could understand, ancient, and filled with power. But even though the words were foreign, the meaning was clear. The ship had awakened, and it was responding to them. Scathor's heart raced. He had expected something extraordinary, but not this. This was more than just a fleet. It was a relic of a forgotten era, a force so ancient and powerful that it had the potential to reshape the galaxy itself. And Earth had been hiding it all along. The team exchanged uneasy glances. It was clear that they were not alone in the chamber. Something was watching them, something that had been waiting for their arrival. The air seemed to grow heavier, filled with a sense of foreboding. Earth's hidden fleet was no longer dormant. It had been activated, and it was aware of their presence. "We need to be careful," Scathor said, his voice low and steady. "This is no ordinary weapon. We don't know what it's capable of." Zeria nodded, her hand resting on the weapon at her side. "Agreed. But what if this is Earth's way of telling us they're ready? What if they've been waiting for the right moment to strike?" Scathor's mind raced as he considered the possibilities. The Galactic Council had always seen Earth as a peaceful, non-threatening species, but this discovery changed everything. Earth had kept its power hidden for centuries, waiting for a moment when it could make its presence known to the galaxy. The time for silence was over. "We need to learn everything about this fleet," Scathor said, his voice filled with urgency. "It's not just about power. It's about control. Earth has been hiding its true strength for a reason, and we need to understand why. What are they planning?" As if answering his question, the ship's surface began to glow. A beam of light shot out from the center of the structure, illuminating the entire chamber. The light seemed to reach into every corner, as though it was scanning everything around it. And then, without warning, a voice echoed in their minds, a voice that was unmistakably human. "Leave this place," the voice said, calm and commanding. "The fleet is not for you. Earth has chosen its path, and you are not part of it." The words sent a chill down Scathor's spine. It was not a threat, but a warning. Earth had made its decision, and the galaxy had no place in it. The voice was firm, resolute, and it carried with it an unmistakable sense of authority. This was not just a message. It was a declaration. "What does this mean?" Zaria asked, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "Is Earth rejecting us?" Zathor stood still, processing the message. The voice, though human, carried a weight far beyond anything he had ever encountered. It was as if Earth itself was speaking, warning them of something far greater than they could understand. The fleet, the technology, the energy, it all pointed to a single, terrifying conclusion. Earth was no longer the peaceful planet they had once known. It had become something else entirely, something far more powerful. "Earth has changed," Zathor said quietly, his gaze locked on the ship, "and we've just awakened something we may not be able to control." The team fell silent, each of them contemplating the enormity of their discovery. They had come to Earth seeking answers, but what they had found was something far beyond their comprehension. The fleet was not just a weapon. It was a symbol of a new era. An era where Earth was no longer a silent participant in the galaxy, but a force to be reckoned with. And as the voice echoed in their minds once more, the reality of their situation set in. Earth was no longer afraid to show its power. And the galaxy would soon learn that it had underestimated the true might of this once hidden world. The fleet had awakened, and nothing would ever be the same again. The team stood in awe, their eyes fixed on the glowing ship, the very heart of Earth's hidden fleet. A deep, unsettling silence enveloped them as the voice from the ship lingered in their minds, echoing the warning that Earth had chosen its path. There was no turning back. The secrets they had uncovered were far greater than they could ever have imagined. Zathor's mind raced as he pieced together the fragments of their discovery. Earth had always been seen as a small, insignificant planet in the eyes of the galaxy's most powerful empires. Its people were considered weak, its resources undervalued. But now, with this fleet rising from the shadows, everything was changing. Zaria stepped closer to the ship, her eyes narrowing as she analyzed the patterns of energy flowing around it. This technology, it's ancient, but it's beyond anything we've ever encountered. How did Earth hide something this powerful for so long? Zathor shook his head, still unable to grasp the full scope of what they were witnessing. "I don't know, but we need to figure it out. This fleet, it's not just a weapon. It's a statement." The beam of light from the ship pulsed again, more intensely this time. The hum of energy filled the chamber, vibrating through the walls, as if the ship itself was waking from a long slumber. Then, in a moment of sudden clarity, the ship's surface parted, revealing an enormous door. It was unlike anything they had seen before, sleek and smooth, but with an unmistakable aura of ancient power. The door opened slowly, its creaking sound reverberating through the chamber. As it did, a strange, metallic scent filled the air. The light inside the ship grew brighter, blinding them for a moment. And then, as their eyes adjusted, they saw something that took their breath away. Inside the ship, rows upon rows of enormous, complex structures stretched out before them. There were enormous engines, long and sleek, embedded in the walls of the ship. The room appeared to be a hybrid of organic and mechanical, as if it had been grown and built simultaneously. But most shocking of all was the vast array of human-made technology integrated seamlessly into the ship's design. "This is," Zaria whispered in disbelief. "This is not just a fleet. It's a fortress, a warship, and a colony all in one." Zathor nodded slowly, his heart heavy with the weight of their discovery. "And it's been hidden here, on Earth, for centuries. All this time, they've been watching, waiting." The ship's energy continued to pulse as if in response to their realization. And then, without warning, a voice boomed from deep within the ship, a voice that was both mechanical and human at once, blending the two in an eerie harmony. "The fleet has awoken. The galaxy will now learn the truth of Earth's might." Zathor and his team exchanged glances, a mix of fear and awe in their eyes. The voice wasn't just a message. It was a declaration. Earth had been hiding its power, and now it was ready to reveal itself. "We've been blind," Zuria muttered, still trying to process the enormity of their find. Earth was never weak. It was never insignificant. It was just waiting. Zathar's thoughts raced as he absorbed the implications of their discovery. If Earth has this kind of power, then everything changes. The balance of the galaxy, the alliances, the empires, they're all about to be shattered. "We need to report this," one of the other officers, Kale, said, his voice filled with urgency. "The Galactic Council has to know. We can't keep this to ourselves." Zathar hesitated, a heavy weight pressing on his chest. "No, not yet. If we tell them now, the galaxy will react. They'll panic. And if Earth isn't ready to reveal itself, we could start a war." He turned back to the ship, feeling a deep, unsettling connection with it. There was more to this than just military power. The fleet wasn't just a tool of destruction. It was something far more significant. It was a symbol of Earth's readiness to step into its own, a step the galaxy was not prepared for. As the team ventured deeper into the ship, they encountered more mysteries, advanced technology, uncharted systems, and hidden chambers. Each discovery seemed to reveal more about Earth's ancient civilization, a civilization that had once been part of a vast galactic empire, only to be abandoned and forgotten by the rest of the universe. The deeper they went, the more they understood. Earth's fleet wasn't just a defense mechanism. It was a message, a powerful reminder that Earth was far from helpless. The fleet had been built in secret, its existence hidden for a reason. The galaxy had forgotten Earth, but Earth had not forgotten its place in the universe. As Zathar walked deeper into the ship, a strange feeling washed over him. It was a sense of urgency, of something vital and crucial being set into motion. Earth was no longer the quiet, insignificant world it had once been. It was a force waiting to be unleashed. "The galaxy will never be the same," Zathar said softly, more to himself than to anyone else. "And we've just been caught in its wake." Zaria nodded, her expression filled with both dread and awe. "It's already begun." As they continued their exploration, the hum of the ship grew louder, the energy pulsing with increasing intensity. The fleet was awakening, and with it, a new chapter in the galaxy's history was about to be written. Earth's seat was no longer vacant, and with it, the entire galaxy would have to reckon with what it had left behind. The hum of the ship had intensified to a near-deafening roar, vibrating through the walls and shaking the very ground beneath their feet. The team, standing on the threshold of Earth's ancient hidden fleet, could feel the power radiating from the massive warship like a living entity awakening after a long slumber. The enormity of their discovery pressed on them, each moment heavier than the last. Zathar took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. The truth they had uncovered was too vast, too terrifying. Earth, the small, seemingly insignificant planet that had been overlooked by the galaxy's most powerful empires, had been harboring a secret, a fleet so advanced that it defied comprehension. Now, that fleet was awakening, and the consequences were unimaginable. "We have to move quickly," Zuria said, her voice trembling with a mix of awe and fear. This ship isn't just a weapon. It's a message, and the universe won't be ready for it." Zathar nodded, his mind racing with the implications. He had seen the ship's capabilities, their unimaginable speed, their near-impenetrable shields, and their devastating firepower. But it wasn't just the fleet that made Earth's power so terrifying. It was the knowledge that had been hidden for centuries, knowledge of a civilization that had once been a part of a vast galactic empire, now long forgotten. They'd been waiting for this moment, Zathar muttered under his breath, glancing around at the strange, alien technology integrated seamlessly with Earth's own. Earth hasn't been hiding its strength, it's been hiding its legacy. The ship seemed to respond to his words. The lights inside flickered, and a new sound filled the air, a deep, resonant hum that seemed to echo from within the core of the vessel. The walls shimmered, revealing holographic projections of ancient battles and forgotten histories. Images of powerful fleets, vast starships, and long-forgotten worlds flashed before their eyes. This was not just a warship. It was a testament to Earth's lost history, a history of greatness, of empires that had once ruled the stars. But the galaxy had forgotten Earth, thinking it weak and insignificant. Now the planet's true power was being unveiled, and there was no turning back. Zaria stepped forward, her eyes locked on the holograms. This is proof. Earth wasn't always the isolated, defenseless world the galaxy thinks it is. It was part of something much bigger. Zathar's heart raced as the pieces of the puzzle clicked together. The fleet had been built to protect Earth's place in the galaxy, to defend it against enemies both external and internal. But for some reason, the fleet had remained dormant, hidden away, waiting for the day when Earth would rise once more. "We've been blind," Kale said, his voice barely above a whisper. "The galaxy has been blind." Zathar's mind flashed back to the countless times he had dismissed Earth, considering it nothing more than a minor planet in a forgotten corner of the universe. The other empires had made the same mistake, underestimating Earth's potential, seeing it only as a backwater world that posed no threat. But now it was clear that Earth had been biding its time, carefully preparing for the moment when it would once again take its place in the galaxy. The ship's energy surged once more, the walls glowing with a brilliant light. A new projection flickered into existence, a map of the galaxy, showing Earth's position at the heart of a vast network of trade routes, alliances, and ancient empires. But there was more. Hidden deep within the map were coordinates that led to something much more powerful than any of them had expected. "This isn't just about Earth," Zaria said, her voice tinged with awe. This is about something much bigger. There's something more, something that Earth has been guarding for millennia." Zathar's eyes narrowed as he studied the coordinates. A chill ran down his spine as he realized what they were looking at. The map revealed a path, one that led to a network of hidden systems, long-lost colonies and forgotten technologies, secrets that could shift the balance of power across the entire galaxy. "It's a treasure trove," he said quietly, "a legacy of a forgotten empire." Zaria's expression hardened. "And now it's ours for the taking. The galaxy won't know what hit it." The team's gaze turned toward the vast expanse of the ship. The fleet was ready. Earth was no longer the planet everyone thought it was. The silence that had once surrounded Earth was broken, and now the galaxy would have to face the consequences. "We need to prepare," Zathar said, his voice firm. "We need to bring this to the Galactic Council, but we also need to be ready for the fallout. The galaxy will fight back. They won't just let Earth rise without a fight." As the team prepared to leave the ship and return to their base, the hum of the ship continued to resonate, a constant reminder of the power they had uncovered. Earth's seat in the Galactic Council had always remained empty, but now it would no longer be ignored. The fleet had awakened, and with it Earth's hidden legacy. The galaxy would never be the same.